I saw a video recently where a young tech expert was saying that if you don't use AI, you're going to be left behind. And I agree with him, he's right, but not for the reason that he was talking about. For most of us over 50, it's not as much about productivity where your peers will leave you behind because they'll be more adept or more competent. It's about autonomy. And if you want to maintain control over your finances, your healthcare, even your safety over the coming years, you can't afford to ignore AI. Let me explain why. Hi, I'm Chantal and welcome to AI for 50 Plus. Today I wanted to have this simple conversation. No demonstration on my computer, no jams or GPTs. And before we dive in, I wanted to be clear about who this video is for. If you're over 50 or younger and your mind is firmly made up that you don't want to have anything to do with AI, you don't want to touch AI with a 10-foot pole, well, probably this video is not for you. But if you're a bit more on the fence about AI and maybe you're curious but you're worried about the ethics, or you're concerned about the speed at which AI is changing, or frankly you're just overwhelmed about all the new things and the jargon, well then this video is for you. And I want you to know I'm not here to tell you drink the Kool-Aid, use the tech, it's great, it's wonderful, because I share some of the same concerns that you probably have. Let me be clear about something. I too am concerned about the lack of guardrails around AI and at the sheer supersonic speed at which it's evolving. But despite those concerns, this is where I landed for myself. I feel I owe it to myself to learn as much as I reasonably can about AI so that I'm less vulnerable and so that people or systems don't make decisions for me behind the scenes. I'll use an analogy so that you understand what I mean, and I'll give you a few examples. So remember a few decades ago, we would be going on a road trip and we had those ginormous maps. And even with these, often we had to stop at a gas station to ask for directions, not knowing if the directions were any good, and actually often forgetting about half of them. Today, most of us wouldn't dream of going on a road trip without a GPS or a navigation app. Not because we suddenly became bad drivers, but because the world has changed. There are more roads now, more traffic, more hazards. Learning AI is not about becoming a different person, but it's about upgrading from a map to a GPS that can show you the hazards before you hit them. And here are a few examples. So let's start with the first example, which I call defensive driving, and it's all about safety. So learning AI is like turning on Waze or Google Maps. It alerts you to hazards before they're in front of you. Online, there are now traffic jams and speed traps in different forms. You have those scam emails that look convincingly real, or you have those bogus investment opportunities. I'm not talking about the Nigerian prince here because they're becoming more and more subtle. Deepfake voices pretending to be someone that you know. AI tools can really help you navigate those. So you can summarize a suspicious email, for example, and ask AI, is this a scam? And actually, more and more of the more common AIs that you will have heard about, like ChatGPT, have this even integrated now because they are connected to apps. So it's super easy. And it could save you so much headaches. So just like defensive driving is not about being paranoid, it's about being prepared. Using AI this way is about seeing the hazards ahead of time before you get stuck into them. So that's a really important one. The second one for me is as important, and it's all about advocacy, especially in healthcare, insurance, and bureaucracy. So when a doctor or an insurance company tells you there's no other way, AI can really help you just zoom out and actually see all the alternatives that nobody has told you about. We've all had these moments where you meet the doctor and he or she is hurried and gives you a very short explanation in medical jargon. Or the insurance company tells you, no, 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 it's in the policy. Or the government website is so confusing that you just want to give up. AI can help you advocate for yourself in so many ways. It can turn complicated medical language into something you can actually understand and even question. It can help you draft a very polite email so that you can ask for clarification or a second opinion. It can summarize a long document like a policy so that you can see what the real options are. AI, of course, cannot replace your doctor or your lawyer or your own judgment, but it's helping you see the whole map so you don't feel completely at the mercy of the system. And I'll go with a last example. There are many more, but one that I find fun is what I call the dormant projects or passion projects. And those are the ideas that you've parked over the years and you said, well, maybe one day or when I retire. In the same way that the old maps didn't show you maybe all of the roads and you were always going to the familiar highways and you didn't dare veer off, when the GPS appeared, it gave us confidence actually to go on these back roads and to explore, and you were confident that you would not get lost. Well, AI gives you the confidence actually to start these projects because you know you won't get lost into the technical details. So maybe you've always wanted to write a memoir for your kids or your grandkids, or start a small business online or a YouTube channel. And often the blockers are, well, I don't know where to start, or I'm not technical enough, or what if I'm stuck, I'll feel stupid. But AI can act like a creative GPS to help you outline your memoir or give you a step-by-step plan for your project. So there's nothing wrong with using AI because it can help you so much in so many areas. I gave you 3 examples, but there are many more. So when I talk about learning AI, I'm not saying you have to become a programmer or you even have to know every new app. What I'm saying is AI is becoming the new navigation system for the modern world. And if we refuse to touch it, we're choosing to drive with an outdated map when everybody else around us is using a GPS and sees the hazards and the traffic and the shortcuts. For those of us over 50, using AI is maybe not as much about productivity, although it can be, but it's for safety and autonomy and advocacy. And yes, the courage to start those passion projects that you keep postponing. So where does this leave us? Well, we don't get to control the speed at which AI is changing, unfortunately, and I wish we did. But what we can control is how prepared we are. You don't have to love AI. You don't even have to use AI every day. But if you want your autonomy, then learning just a little bit about AI is probably the best practical gift you can give yourself. If this resonates with you, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any video. And let me know in the comments, honestly, are you in the camp of, well, I'm overwhelmed about AI and I don't know where to start? Or are you more into the, I'm curious about AI, but I'm really uneasy about it? And that would help me decide which type of videos that I could make in the future. Thanks for watching. And remember, even though we were born way before Wi-Fi, we absolutely and definitely can own AI. See you next week.